Throughout the development of Gun Crazy, the script's ending remained problematic. In some drafts, Laurie was run over by a farm thresher. In others, she's gunned down by the law. And in one horribly lame iteration, she lives, carted off to jail where she has to listen to a female guard blather on about the Civil War. Now, it is proof of Dalton Trumbo's genius, or at least his storytelling instinct, that as soon as he read the original script, he instantly envisioned its most tragic, ironic, and perfect conclusion. The only person Bart kills is the only person he loves. Much of Gun Crazy's renown is due to one scene, the single-take bank robbery in which the audience is essentially along for the ride in the getaway car. Director Joseph Lewis had to convince the skeptical King brothers, who produced the picture, that it could be done this way. So he shot a test of the scene using a pair of high school students as Bart and Laurie, and Lewis himself shooting it from the back seat with a 16mm camera. But to give full credit where it's due, McKinley Cantor's original script specified that the camera stay with Laurie the whole time, never going into the bank with Bart. He even scripted out a longer, funnier confrontation between Laurie and the cop. Trumbo trimmed that, but otherwise kept the scene intact, exactly as Cantor devised it. Lewis's fantastic contribution was doing it all as one continuous shot, entirely from within the car. Gun Crazy was originally released under the title Deadly is the Female. It was a boneheaded decision dictated by United Artists who didn't think Gun Crazy was sexy enough. The King brothers had entered a distribution deal with UA that they thought would be profitable, but they quickly came to regret it. Their magnum opus was dumped on the market with this lame ad campaign, and it was quickly lost amid the tide of terrific movies released in the first half of 1950. By the time the Kings had leveraged a return to the original title and reissued the movie, it was too late. It was a box office bomb. On the Kings' long resume, which stretched from the early 40s to the late 60s, Gun Crazy would be the only film they made that lost money. The only one. And today, it is recognized as their crowning achievement. That'll do it for this week, but don't go away, because coming up next is a video tribute to my friend, Peggy Cummins, which streamed on Filmstruck just a few months after Peggy's death in December of 2017. Many thanks to my buddy Scott McGee for producing this. Hope I'll see you again next week for a kitchen sink noir starring the greatest actress in movie history. Clash by Night is our feature next week on Noir Alley. Until then, see you in the shadows.
You better kiss me goodbye, Bart. Because I won't be here when you get back.
Peggy Cummins, known to film fans worldwide for her unforgettable performance in Gun Crazy, passed away on December 29, 2017. She was 92. In recent years, she'd enjoyed a public reemergence, often appearing at revivals of her films, with Gun Crazy always the touchstone. I was thrilled to be part of that renaissance, as Peggy and I enjoyed a globe-trotting friendship that included events in Hollywood, San Francisco, and Europe. We were initially introduced thanks to Robert Osborne at the 2012 TCM Classic Film Festival, where he graciously allowed me to interview Peggy prior to a sold-out screening of Gun Crazy. In France, I introduced Quentin Tarantino to Peggy, and he prostrated himself in admiration before the star of one of his favorite movies. Wherever she went, Peggy charmed people with her dry, sparkling wit and down-to-earth warmth, of which she'd simply say, "I'm Irish, you know. I get on with people." In 1945, at 19 years of age, she made her film debut at 20th Century Fox, but the experience was not a successful one. After a few frustrating years, it seemed the Hollywood love affair was over. But it was her last-minute casting in Gun Crazy, released in 1950, that would provide her lasting cinematic legacy. Only weeks before the start of shooting, Producer Frank King was desperate to find a delicate actress who could still handle the rigors of his rough and tumble production. Peggy was more than ready.
Almost killed a man once. Shot a little too low.
She threw herself into the part, imbuing the character of Annie Laurie Starr with a complex and seething mixture of venom and vulnerability, sweetness and sexiness, creating both a singular character and a larger-than-life archetype.
I told you I was no good. I didn't kid you, did I? Well, now you know. But I've been kicked around all my life. And from now on, I'm going to stop kicking back.
She even wore her own clothes in the film, which predated fashion trends in the culture and the cinema. She and co-star John Dahl participated in one of the most legendary scenes in the history of crime movies, a bank robbery shot in a single thrilling take in which the camera never leaves the back seat of the getaway car. The crazed, carnal excitement that lights up Peggy's sweet face sends shivers down my spine every time I see it. Although she'd make another 15 movies, nothing else came close to the fire she'd shown in Gun Crazy. Although she loved the attention this seminal film noir sustained, she appreciated even more the opportunity to travel and meet new people. She was adept at playing the star when the lights went on, but she was even better showing an uncanny common touch with folks who had no clue about her movie career. To every person she encountered, Peggy was the highlight of their day. Shortly before her death, my wife Kathleen and I spent 2 glorious days with her in London, and we'd parted with the expectation of reuniting on the festival circuit to continue celebrating the thrall Gun Crazy casts over audiences worldwide. Our last glimpse of the indefatigable Miss Cummins was her bounding onto a Brompton Road lorry and amiably chatting up the busman. Farewell, dear Peggy. You made an indelible impression in the cinema and my life. For Filmstruck, this is Eddie Muller.